Welcome back to another video from 3R's Zero Waste Environment Foundation's unofficial channel. And today me, Karthik Sangar, will be going to cover up about the 3R's, which you may have definitely heard of. If not, then don't worry, I have got you guys covered up about in this video. So, let us begin. The 3R's. Everybody knows about them. They stand for reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, I know that most of you here already know about all these terms and their working, but hey, ask yourself and be honest, do you really know about these terms? How do these get applied in real life? Why there is an utmost need to follow them? Well, hey, don't worry. That's what I'm here for, to make you guys aware about them and to answer all of these questions. But first, let us dive deep into the question why the 3R's? Well, since the shape of our environment is not improving since the last decade, therefore, it is important for the human race to cultivate some steps in order to better the situation. Just try to think clearly. The environment is everything around you, including the air, water, land, plants, and man made things. And since by now you probably know that you need a healthy environment for your own health and happiness, you can understand why effective waste management is also so important to you and everyone else. Different types of waste are also seen everywhere, including polythene bags, e-waste, etc. Most of the waste material we find today comes from plastic. Plastics are a curse brought about by modernization. While they make our everyday lives easier, they also are beginning to cause problems. A growing concern for many is the number of plastic finding their way into our oceans and lakes. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration estimates that 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the oceans every year. Microplastics, small particles of broken down plastics, are being found in many places too. More often, though, it is greener to follow the old saying of reduce, reuse, and recycle. But with the current situation, the 3R's are a phrase and a principle which would be worth reviving. So, let us begin. Reduce. Well, this is the most obvious one, as the best way to manage waste is not produce it at all. So basically, it means using fewer resources in the first place. This is the most effective of the 3R's and the place to begin in. Reducing also means limiting the amount of purchases we make, so a question on the amount of materials we consume on a daily basis also comes into our minds. So now what can we do? Well, if you want to buy something non-essential, we should probably wait for 3 days. If you're still thinking about it 3 days later, then you can buy it. More than likely, you will have forgotten about it. This is known as the 3-day rule. There are other ways also to reduce your consumption without limiting purchases. Buying foods in bulk often means less packaging waste. Buying in bulk is useful if you are sure you will need the full quantity you are buying. Otherwise, it could be wasteful if you can't use all of the goods before they expire. Budgeting can also help you reduce resource consumption. If you're thinking about a new computer, but your old computer works well, save up your money little by little until you can afford a new one without wasting or using a credit card or payment plan. By the time you have gotten the money saved up, you may actually need the new computer, or you may have realized there's a better use for your saved up money. Turning off lights when you're not in the room, unplugging electronics when not in use, and fixing drippy faucets are other ways to reduce your consumption of essential resources. It will also lower your utility bills. Well, these were some of the most simple ways in which you can reduce your usage of materials or products so that less amount of waste occurs. The next one, you guessed it right, is reuse. The word in itself is self-explanatory. Reusing is the act of taking old items that you might consider throwing away and finding a new use for them. By taking but not reprocessing previously used items helps save time, money, energy, and resources. In broader economic terms, it can make quality products available to people and organizations with limited means, while generating jobs and business activity that contribute to the economy. There are a lot of examples which I can share with you. Jars from grocery store foods can be used to store leftovers or to take lunch to work. Using old clothing as cleaning racks, materials can also be reused by other people. Working computers and parts can often be donated to community centers or charitable organizations. Clothing also can be donated and given a second life. Last but certainly not the least, recycle. This is probably the most well known and well understood of the 3 R's. Recycling is the process of converting waste materials into new materials and objects. The recovery of energy from waste materials is often included in this concept. The recyclability of a material depends on its ability to require the properties it had in its original state. It is an alternative to conventional waste disposal that can save material and help lower greenhouse gas emissions. It can prevent the waste of potentially useful materials and reduce the consumption of fresh raw materials, thereby reducing energy usage, air pollution, and water pollution. Recycling aims towards environmental sustainability by substituting raw material inputs into and redirecting waste outputs out of the economic system. That's why it is considered the most important out of all 3 R's. Recyclable materials include many kinds of glass, paper, cardboard, metal, plastic, tires, textiles, batteries, and electronics. The composting or other reuse of biodegradable waste, such as food or garden waste, is also a form of recycling. Materials to be recycled are either delivered to a household recycling center or picked up from curbside bins, then sorted, cleaned, and reprocessed into new materials destined for manufacturing new products. Also, I would like to inform you guys about the NGO which I am working for, 3R Zero Waste Environment Foundation, is also taking an initiative of reducing the pile of millions and billions of waste lying in a country by following the 3R strategy of reduce, reuse, and recycle, so as to build a sound material cycle society through the effective use of resources and materials. The initiative taken by them is remarkable and renowned everywhere. Now, that was all about the 3 R's. There is one more thing left though. Whenever we go through this strategy, we also get to come across two more different R's, which might be added later on to become the 5 R's. They are rethink and recover. Rethink is about considering how our actions affect the environment. Having a thinking made towards creating the change should be everyone's first thought though, towards making a green and clean earth. Therefore, it should be added to the start of the list. Recover refers to the practice of putting waste products to use. For example, decomposing garbage produces methane gas, which can be recovered and burned to produce energy. Hence, it can be added to the end of the list. That was all for today's video. So if you find it informative, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my content. This was me, Karthik Sangar once again. Take care, stay safe, signing out.